Easton Cowan picks up his first career NHL point as the Maple Leafs bounce back against the Nashville Predators. Hey everyone, welcome to Inside the Leafs. Rob Wong joined alongside by Toronto Sun Maple Leafs writers Terry Koshan and Lance Hornby. And guys, it feels like we've been talking about Easton Cowan pretty much all the times we've done these videos so far this season, but deservedly so, as he has now been vaulted up to the top line, picking up his first career NHL point in Tuesday's win against the Nashville Predators. Terry, we'll start with you. Considering what we have seen so far from him, it's just a couple of games, but could you potentially see him being a long-term option on that line for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think you could see that. I mean, it's awfully early and there's a lot of hockey to be played, but eventually that could happen, I think. Um, you know, Impressive about Cowan. So what happens in camp? He shines with Lawrence and Lawton. Lawton gets hurt and Berube thinks, okay, well, now they got to shuffle these things around, the lines around. Where does Cowan fit in? And he doesn't. And clearly there wasn't, even with the way he had played, the comfort with putting him right back with somebody else. They get to that point Monday and with, the top line with Matthews and Knies. And, nothing is perfectly seamless, but for the kid and the way he's played with the two of them in two games, there's not much to nitpick at. I mean, he's just the smarts and the IQ that Berube has talked about with him really help him gel with Matthews and Knies. So we'll see where it goes from here, but certainly you have to like the early potential of it and of what you're talking about it being there longer term. And, even the play last night in the goal, he gets that going in the neutral zone, a nifty little pass, and, the Leafs go in and score on the goal by Matthews. So, yeah, he looks good. Part of being a good young prospect is that ability to adjust. And I think so far we've seen it, again, in awfully small sample size. At least
thing that impresses me most about Cowan, what I was worried about was could he take the physical pounding of the National Hockey League, and we saw him get drilled into the post last night quite unceremoniously and dust it off and get back and play. And not only that, this guy likes to get a piece of people, which is going to endear him certainly to Craig Berube. So in addition to all the other stuff he's doing, as Terry mentioned, the creativity and certainly gelling with two guys of the skill level of Matthews and Knies, that is impressive. And I think if he can keep that going, and again, it's it is early, and there's going to be some grind there, and I don't think we've seen it in a back-to-back yet, but we'll have to see how that progresses down the road. But you know what? So far, so good, and he's had a long runway to this. We're not talking about a player who isn't a stranger to work and a lot of games, certainly with how far London went the last couple of years, his junior team. So I'm quite impressed, and if it works out, good for the Maple Leafs. I mean, it's not every team who can, I'm not going to call this kid Mitch Marner yet, but to have somebody who can step in and do even, half of what Marner did would be a great advantage for the Maple Leafs.
There was even a play last night in the neutral zone. He had the puck and he peeled off Ryan O'Reilly. And I can't remember if he got it past somebody else or just dumped the puck in, but the fact is he kind of, outguiled one of the better veterans in the National Hockey League on that particular play. So, he's just doing a lot of good things. And as far as the physicality goes, I think he'll be fine. I mean, that play last night where he gets thrown into the post is a bit of an anomaly, but, Marner had that ability to avoid those sorts of things, and we'll see if Cowan does too. The difference, like Lance pointed out, though, is that Cowan kind of looks for it as well, right? He's got that part in his game where he wants to be that physical player as well. So, so far, so good.
Yeah, he was throwing some hits around in that game last night, or the other night, I should say, against the Detroit Red Wings. So, as you say, he's not really afraid of that physical part of the game, but really impressive the leap that he has made considering where he was a year ago heading into Maple Leafs training camp, where it was pretty clear he was not ready for that jump. A guy that was ready for that jump from the beginning was Matthew Knies, and hard to believe, Lance, we are now in the third full season of this player, still just 22 years old, coming off a 29 goal campaign a year ago, but so far this year, the assists, the playmaking has been the big story for Matthew Knies, as he's got 5 so far, had a really nice one on that Austin Matthews goal. Have you seen a step up in his game, taking it to another level here in his third full season?
I think that's the case. A lot of people were looking for that, and he dedicated himself to getting in better last year. Obviously, a disappointing playoff form with the injury, the way everything ended last year. But you know what? Here's a guy, and credit the Leafs, bit of a diamond in the rough. There wasn't the build up with him that there is to a lot of other prospects who've come to the Leafs. And the man is a horse. And when you get you see his breakaway speed, and I'm sure he's had a couple of breakaways I think that have been stopped. But to your point, what a great setup to Matthews, a fine compliment on that side, and there's that whole kind of kismet with the Arizona thing. They seem to have a great off ice relationship as well. And losing Marner again, we go back to that. A big part of that line disappears, and yet that is a great foundation that those two have found a lot of chemistry the last couple of years. And you can put Knies in some other situations too, where he's proven valuable to Craig Berube's game plan, and this guy's only going to get better, I think.
Yeah, he's done what you'd expect. I mean, kind of there's no ceiling for Knies, and here we are, 4 games in, and tied for the team lead with 5 assists. He's tied for the team lead with 14 hits. I think it's Bob McMahon. He's 11 shots on goal. It's his 3rd overall in the group. So just being that presence in the offensive zone, but having the smarts in the defensive zone to make it complete. So that's important, because we talked about earlier. You think Cowan's going to be a long-term guy here. We don't know that for sure. We can't say that for sure. Do you see Michelli and Domi back up there when everyone's healthy? Quite possibly. So if that's the case, if you are seeing a bit of a rotation until Berube settles on something, then it's imperative for the other two to be excellent. And that falls on the shoulders of Knies and Matthews. And the captain's been fine, I think. But as far as Knies goes, you wonder how will he take that next step and everything. Well, it's really a continuation of the areas that he did so well in last year, when he had the career highs and points right across the board and everything. So great early returns with number 23, and there's no reason to see why he would come off it at all. He has that, like you said, Rob, that the age is still young. He's got that youngster's enthusiasm, but he's able to corral it and be effective. And like Lance alluded to, diamond in the rough for sure. The pick was made. No one sees this coming a few years later, but kudos not only to the Leafs but to the player for taking the development.
I would add quite briefly too that here's a guy who's very comfortable in that Toronto media fishbowl. He is, where he is in the dressing room, at least in the practice rink. He's right on the edge, nearest the wall where the leadership group often speaks. This is before he had his big year, and I could see out of the corner of my eye he's always looking to see what these guys are doing in terms of how they handle themselves, and I think he's really come through with that. He's got a very calm demeanor with the media. He's got a sense of humor. He's certainly not only doing all the right things on the ice, he's saying all the right things off the ice.
Yeah, he's got a bit of Matthews and Nylander in him. Nothing gets to him.
Yeah,
which at this age is huge.
Yeah, definitely not too bothered by being in the spotlight that he has put himself into at this moment. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments section below. For Terry Koshan and Lance Hornby, I'm Rob Wong. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.